Welcome to episode 1 of Through the Glass. This podcast will be featuring the latest Philadelphia Flyers news as well as updates around the NHL. But today we are talking Stanley Cup Finals. We have reached Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Who would have thought we would be here after the first 3 games of this series? Coming into the Stanley Cup Finals, I originally thought this was going to be an unexciting Stanley Cup Final. During the conference finals, I thought it was going to be Dallas Stars versus the New York Rangers, but I think you started to see early on that the Rangers wouldn't be making the finals. So then I was like, okay, let's go Dallas Stars versus the Panthers because you had the dynamic depth, the offensive team in the Stars versus the brutal checking defensive powerhouse in the Florida Panthers. And I just thought that would have made for a fantastic series. But once it was becoming more evident that the Oilers would be the team to move forward, I didn't think they had the roster deep enough to take on the Panthers D, who had just been absolutely crushing all of their opponents to reach the finals again. Being a Bruins fan, I absolutely didn't want to root for the Panthers to win, but since I was pulling for the Stars in the Western Conference Finals, I also wasn't ready to root for the team that just eliminated the Stars. So game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals comes, and I think I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't like the Panthers, and I was still super upset about the Oilers eliminating the Stars. So I was just like, whatever, take the series to game 7 just for the sake of hockey, and may the best team win. So of course, game 1 ends 3-0 win for Florida, and you see the camera zooming in on the Oilers with all their sad faces, and the ruts are being thrown on the ice at the Emirates Bank Arena. And I was like, I don't feel sorry for them. They eliminated the Stars. That's what you get. So then the second game rolls around, and it was kind of like a similar fashion. Once again, the Panthers kind of had the advantage everywhere, and the 2-0, they take the 2-0 series in the league. And I'm still kind of unfazed. I don't really care. Then game 3 happens. Panthers are also kind of dominating the game, and the Oilers start rallying back in the second half, but they come up short. They go down 3-0 in the series. They're at home, and they're facing elimination just like that. And I think that's when I really started to care about the series. Not so much that I wanted Edmonton to win, but it was more like, this is the Stanley Cup Finals. Show up. You made it all the way here. You eliminated the Stars for this. So I think more than anything, I was just upset for the world of hockey. I wanted a damn series, and I wanted the Oilers to show up. So come around to game 4, and I'm pulling for the Oilers, but more so they would make it a series. So the Oilers take the early lead and to start the game, and the Panthers almost start to rally back. Skinner makes the save of the game, and potentially the series shuts down Carter Verhaeghe. And then, of course, Edmonton Oilers just make an absolute festival of it, and just with all these goals that we all knew they were capable of making. The bottom core of the lineup gets the party started, and then Connor McDavid finally scores, gets the 4th goal for the Oilers. Then Darnell Nurse, of all players, gets one in. Zach Hyman scores, and it's 6-1. Then Sergei Bobrovsky goes to the bench, and at this point, I've lost track of who's scoring. And it's a party in Edmonton, and all of Alberta looks like they just won the Stanley Cup. So Anthony Solers comes in for the Cats, and they get a couple more in, and suddenly, while it's only a game 5 that they've forced at this point, it's starting to look like a series. So I can't speak for game 5 because I was at a Flyers charities event hanging out with Gritty, but I was checking on the score on the phone, and I saw Edmonton prevailed again, so that was cool. Moving on to game 6, we're back in Alberta, and still everyone's hyped up from game 4. You have Shania Twain high-fiving everyone, and by this point, the identity of the Oilers girl has been revealed. She has a Playboy shoot, and she's joined their roster. She's hanging out with the Spitting Chicklets guys at the game, and it's a party again. Which also brings me to the point, who's hyping up the Florida Panthers? Is Ariana Grande showing up at their games their biggest flex? They need their own spark to rally them back, and this is coming from someone who doesn't want them to win. So there were glimpses of the Panthers coming back to life in game 6. I thought it was evenly matched for a while. And ultimately, that one came down to more of a race against time, having to pull the goalie, and then for the extra player, and then giving up a couple of empty netters at the end. But I expect we're going to see more from them in game seven. The pressure was on the Oilers in game four and game five, but now I believe the greater pressure is on Florida. Like, sure, Connor McDavid has a lot of weight on his hand. He brought his team from a 3-0 deficit and they forced a game seven. And there's a mounting pressure of bringing the cup back to Canada. And while that is a heavy amount of pressure, you have the Florida Panthers who had the series. They just needed one more. And not only have they not been able to seal the deal, but just the way that they have lost these games, it has to hit hard. They lost the finals last year. They come back. They have a chance to be in the finals again and win it this time. But they completely lost grip of the series. I thought the Bruins showed more dignity when they were getting plummeted by the Panthers in the second round of that series, when they were like losing pretty bad and they started the scrums and then basically the entire team, including David Pastrnak, like starts dropping the gloves. I want to see something similar to that in game seven. I'm not like advocating for violence, of course, but it's the playoffs. Like, it's the Stanley Cup final. I want to see the very best from these teams and see the best team earn it. Anywho, let me know what you guys think. Who will win Lord Stanley's Cup? And the Stanley Cup Game 7 will be tonight in Florida at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be on ABC as well as ESPN+. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I guess maybe like, comment, subscribe if you'd like. Yep, bye.